Win over Wolves after Andre Onana avoided punishment for clattering into Sasha Kalajdzic deep into added time. John Stones was missing with a minor hip problem, but Ben Chilwell stepped up with an assist against Liverpool. The marauding left wing-back also saw a well-taken goal ruled out for a marginal offside. Brian Mbeumo replaced Kaoru Mitoma in the final team, a decision that has narrowly paid off after his converted penalty against Spurs. The Frenchman ought to have added a second when he somehow blazed over from 6 yards after being fed by Rico Henry. Another late swap saw João Pedro come in for Nico Jackson, the thinking being to keep one Brighton attacker for the short term. The young Brazilian got off the mark from the spot against Luton after missing a glorious chance early in the first half. So now we move on to the transfer plans for Game Week 2, with an additional 1.5 million in the bank after those 2 late changes. John Stones looks set to return for Game Week 2 after being included in the travelling squad to face Sevilla midweek in the Super Cup. But Gabriel is more of a concern after he was left out tactically against Nottingham Forest. Part of those new tactics relied on the flexibility afforded by Jurriën Timber, who has subsequently picked up an unfortunate knee injury. So Arteta will be forced to make changes to his defence for the trip to Crystal Palace, and I'm prepared to give Gabriel one more chance in the hope he comes back in. Instead, it's Bruno Fernandes who I'm most tempted to part with my free transfer. The Man United captain occupied a deeper role to accommodate Mason Mount against Wolves, and shared set pieces with Mount and Shaw. Admittedly, it's just a 1-game sample against a well-organised Wolves side, and I'm expecting a more open game against Spurs on Saturday. But the allure of James Maddison is strong after his impressive Tottenham debut, where he supplied assists for both his side's goals and fashioned a team-leading 6 attempted assists. Ideally, I'd prefer to wait another week, but I'm already thinking about what I could do with the extra funds. An additional 1 million would enable me to upgrade Cameron Archer to Nico Jackson in Game Week 3 rather than João Pedro. So with Maddison looking likely to rise in price ahead of the Game Week 2 deadline, I imagine I'll be forced into making that change early if I want to keep open that route to Jackson later. With that in mind, here's how the team is set to line up. There's a decision to make between the sticks with Matt Turner up against promoted Sheffield United. The Blades mustered up just 4 shots in the box against Crystal Palace and a single effort on target. Only Burnley produced a lower expected goals total in Game Week 1, up against Man City. Ben Chilwell and Pervis Estupiñán are sure to keep their places in the back 3 after impressive attacking displays last weekend. The Brighton left-back carved out a leading tally of 6 attempted assists among defenders, while only Nathan Patterson could equal his 3 shots. After Newcastle's emphatic win over Aston Villa, where they fashioned a staggering 9 big chances, I'm leaning towards benching John Stones for Gabriel, who could earn a recall for the trip to Crystal Palace. The Eagles fashioned the joint lowest expected goals per game against the Big Six plus Newcastle last season. Marcus Rashford was isolated up top against Wolves, and will be hoping for more space to operate in behind against Tottenham. Ange Postecoglou's side allowed Brentford 3 big chances in Game Week 1, with just 4 teams producing more. Arsenal's win over Forest saw Gabriel Martinelli produce a sublime piece of skill to assist Eddie Nketiah. The Brazilian ranked joint first with Bukayo Saka for attempted assists among teammates, each with 3. The Gunners scored 35 goals in away matches last season, a tally only matched by Brighton. Joining Erling Haaland up front is João Pedro, who took 4 shots inside the box against Luton in Game Week 1. Only Eze and Edouard attempted more. Wolves deserved more from their opening game with Man United, and could prove tricky for Brighton to break down. They kept 10 clean sheets at home last season, with only Man United earning more. With no Mo Salah in the team, it's an easy decision to stick with Erling Haaland as captain. It's something I'd obviously put some thought into pre-season, ultimately deciding that the Norwegian's consistency at the Etihad would make him a viable candidate regardless of Salah's more favourable fixture. 29 of his 36 goals last season came at home, as did 7 of his 9 assists. He averaged 9.6 points per game in home matches against the Big Six plus Newcastle. But for those of you who started with the Egyptian, I would stick with the plan and give him the armband this week.